Near you.
Yeah. All right.
All
Ms.
right.
Walden,
Yes.
I have selected you to help me with this assignment because we share commonalities in our ideas and strategies on what a classroom dynamic should look like
Right.
and how and why we want students to be successful and the avenues to get them there.
Right.
And so I wanted the opportunity to talk with you on this topic. We're looking at curriculum and strategies and helping within curriculum and how our administrators can support us in that manner.
Okay.
So my first question to you is, how long have you been teaching?
Well, I'm going on my 6th year now. All of them as a 6th grade teacher, 6th grade math teacher.
And has all these 5 years, now 6 years, been at the same school?
Yes, John F. Kennedy Middle School.
Have you had any desire to want to change schools, or do you feel like what you get here and the dynamic of your students satisfies your needs as a teacher?
Actually, it really does. I enjoy John F. Kennedy Middle School. I love working with a very diverse group. I feel like I learn from them. It's not always me learning from my students learning from me. They teach me something new every day, and it also broadens my teaching because I have to figure out new ways to grasp their attention, or how can I open up the eyes of this new student that sees things differently from the other kids. So I enjoy the diverse setting.
Okay, that's the same way I am too. I could see myself. I'm in the first year. I did the pre-algebra 6 kids,
Mm-hmm.
and I had been in my comfort zone so long,
Mm-hmm.
and then to get a group of kids who actually can challenge you in a positive way and make you think, oh, I have to step back
Mm-hmm.
because they're at a different level than what
Right.
I was used to.
Right.
And so it was a big shift, but it was an opportunity for me, because you could say you've been teaching so many years, you still grow.
No,
I mean,
I
I'm ready.
agree.
I'm ready to go on, and this is 17, and I'm still
Mm-hmm.
learning, and so
Mm-hmm.
it's a good thing to be able to be teachable,
All right,
as a teacher, because if
I
you get to
agree.
the level that you're not, okay, then we're
New
really not
profession.
good for
Right. There
anything,
you go. I
if
agree.
we can't even learn.
Mhm.
Have you had the opportunity to teach an inclusion setting?
Yes, I've taught an inclusion class every year since I've been here. I had one class my first year, and I've had two classes every year after that.
Did that bring on some challenges?
Definitely. In the beginning, me being a new teacher, it was very challenging in the beginning. It was it was something new. I didn't know what to do. But I looked up to the teachers that were working with me. They guided me, helped me, and I think every year is still a challenge because you never know what student you're gonna get. You never know what they're facing, what they're about to bring to the table. So it's still difficult to me sometimes. I'm still
Exactly.
learning.
I've been inclusion. My first year here, they told me I wasn't going to be, and then all of a sudden I was.
Hmm.
And I had some inclusion classes in Norfolk, but you're right. You can't say it's the same because every year you don't know what the dynamics of that child is going to be and what you're going to have to do. And I really depend on my special need teacher. I,
Right,
I
I agree.
do.
Hmm.
um,
I know I do.
they could be your lifeline in the classroom,
Hmm.
and my students never can tell who really is the teacher,
Right.
because that relationship that we have with each other as that co-teaching dynamics. But it can be it can even sometimes almost burdensome, because it is extra work sometimes.
Mhm.
It is extra work to fulfill the needs of those students, and that leads us to what this interview is really about. It is how we're going to reach these kids, how we're going to reach a diverse group of kids, and they all meet success. So my next question is, how long have you been using each of the theories? And I know we're going to look at differentiation and multiple intelligence. In your 5 years, have you always used differentiation?
No, not in the beginning. I didn't really. In the beginning, I was learning how to just teach. Um, Differentiation. It started. I started. They started talking about it more towards my second and third year. I was hearing the word more, and honestly, until this day, I do it, but I'm wondering if I'm still doing it. If I'm doing it correctly, how I'm supposed to. I know I have different level of children, and I'm trying to accommodate them all the best that I can. I'm also trying to, stay on the standards. I'm trying. It's hard to me. I don't think I have enough time always to complete them all, to make sure I am reaching this child the way that they need to be, but also make sure they're understanding the material that I have to teach. That's the battle right there for me.
One thing about differentiation is you have so many people that have different philosophies. I never forget, we had someone here who who thought that you could differentiate every day,
Mm-hmm.
and it's no way you can differentiate every day.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I know I have watched you, and I know that you do differentiate, because I have seen you assign kids at different levels of where they
Mm-hmm.
are,
Mm-hmm.
and so you are doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we don't always call it, "Oh, I'm doing DI,"
Right,
but
that's true.
we are reaching the kids at the level that they need to be, and I know that you are definitely doing that. In your class, because I have seen you do
Mhm.
tiers.
Mhm.
So I know that you do the tier lesson. Um, Now, when you do the tiered lesson, you're basing that off of the student's readiness
Right.
level.
Right.
Okay. Okay.
Right. And I can say this past year being a Google Classroom, I feel like it has helped me tremendously with the differentiation. I feel like I've really learned Google and how you can assign different assignments to different students. They don't all have to have the same assignment, and that's actually made it easier because once the kids get focused, they're not really looking at that computer. Well, what are you doing? Why aren't you doing what we're doing? They're so focused on being interactive with the different activities that I create, whether it's on Google Slides, it could be Google Art, Google Documents. I can use quizzes. I can use Ed Puzzle. I can create a variety of lessons, and it's not too much work on me. But I'm able to distinguish among my students what that person needs and what that student needs. Google Classroom has helped me a lot this year.
You I mean, that's great examples. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's great examples, and I'm pretty sure that they're going to probably be asking you to do some professional development
Mm-hmm. Oh,
on the Google
I
Classroom,
am
because, or are
doing
you?
math.
Okay, because it is technology. It is a issue for some anyway,
Mm-hmm.
and then to say, okay, I have this, okay, what am I supposed to do with it? So I know I'm going to be interested in and getting,
Mm-hmm.
because you do, after a while, you do feel like you get kind of stale with things, and you do
Mm-hmm.
want some new things, because you want the kids to be excited, because they are coming from a sixth grade class to an eighth grade class, and the kids do compare. They
Right.
compare.
No,
we
they do.
we did this, no, we're gonna do that. So yes, that is definitely needed. When you come to talk about multiple intelligence,
Mhm.
being able to distinguish whether a child is kinesthetic, bodily kinesthetic, visual spatial, interpersonal, intrapersonal, how do you go about distinguishing your kids' learning style?
I would have to say more. I don't want to say what's the word I want. I just when you start out the school year, you just got to try a variety of things anyway. And I'm gonna give them something with manipulatives, or we're gonna use some charts and diagrams. We're gonna use some pictures. We're gonna have to write some things. It's like I have to give a variety of activities, and then you start to pick up on what this student likes to do more, or what that student likes more, because they're gonna tell you. They're gonna say, "Hey, Miss Lottie, I really like this," and they're gonna tell you when they do not like something, and that's kind of like just it's the flow of the year when you really start realizing what each student really likes to do. It's like basically knowing your students, because eventually you're gonna realize who really knows a lot about something this or who doesn't. You just start to pick up on it.
Exactly.
And that's why I just make sure I have to give a variety of activities. That's the key component here. You have to give them different things, or else if you're giving them all worksheets every single day, you'll never learn what they really like, or what they work best with.
Exactly. That's true. That is very true. And that's different because I think most people would probably say they do like the multiple intelligence interview or survey and have the kids do that, to tell. But yeah, that's a different way too. And they don't even know that they're getting assessed. That they're actually getting assessed as to what their learning style is. Have you ever had a student that actually tell you, I like to learn by music? No. Okay.
Let me see. No.
I like hands on because I haven't either.
Yeah, I've never had them really approach me and say that's how they learn. No,
I haven't either, and it's interesting because some researchers say some students will say, "Oh, this is how I like to learn." But I think in the years that I've been teaching, I don't think I've ever had a student that actually was comfortable and say, "I am that kinesthetic learner."
Honestly, if I have to be completely honest, I don't think they know that they learn a certain type of way. They're so used to a structure, like this is what we're gonna do. They get used to consecutive years of doing the same thing. Maybe that's what all they know. Because I had to be honest, when I first started teaching, I didn't know that there was different aspects of how students are learning. I didn't know. And all of this I've been learning over the years, and I didn't know it either when I was younger.
Right. Me neither. I just know I love reading. So so give me an assignment with reading. Oh, I'm gonna do that assignment,
right.
and not knowing that was somebody that was linguistic. I love talking. I love that I could do a skit. Close my eyes, I could do a skit, and that's how I. And so when I was in those classes and those teachers let me communicate, woo,
yeah,
you were excited.
See, I'm the opposite. I'm more introverted. I like to just write. I want to write. And as I want to communicate with you, I don't want to talk. I just don't. And
so you will be intrapersonal, but you are linguistic. But you're linguistic instead of being verbal.
Right.
You would do yours in writing.
That's what I.
So like. You have and I even monitor those students who always writing. You know some kids that have journals. Okay, so they like to write.
That
so you
was
know what?
Me.
That's gonna be the student when I do an assignment. Okay, they're not gonna mind writing a paper because they like to write. Yeah. Now I'm not gonna ask Billy over here who likes to draw to do a skit.
Right.
Because he's not that's not his learning style.
Right. I'm one of those students I like to talk about. And also I do this in my Google Classroom. I have found a way I can put my warm-ups through my Google Classroom instead of for the students that just want to write about what they're supposed to do. Instead of let's just say I put a problem on the board. I'm like, okay, I want you to tell me what steps did I take, because that's how they're really learning. Okay. They are expressing what they actually had to do instead of just trying to work it all out, because then they'll sometimes realize that, oh, I made a mistake. That's not what I was supposed to do, because I made them write it out.
That's why I'm hoping that eventually we can get to the point where everybody has access to the computers.
I hope so.
Because it's just that would be a great idea, but if I'm sharing a cart with 3 other teachers, I may not be able to do that, But I do try in my warm-ups. I try to have one writing.
That's good.
Where you have to tell me. I want you to solve it. I want you to tell me. Tell me I can have a problem solved incorrectly. share with me what's wrong with this.
Because when you have to put it in word form, you have to think
You
about
have to
it.
think about it. You
can't
do.
just write anything.
Because when you're trying to solve, you can, okay, I make it solve, but now I want you to tell me, because sometimes our solving can be from rote memory.
Exactly.
It can be from rote memory.
Exactly.
You don't know what you're doing. It's just, you just know I'm supposed to do this. But when you have to actually tell me, then I had to think about, oh yeah, okay, I am supposed to do this because I am, and that's true.
Right.
That's a very good idea. And I think you really have answered how difficult is each theory to integrate into instruction. Well, you're DI because you're doing the Google Classroom, so that's really not a difficulty for you. Um, the multiple intelligence, I would say, um, you're hitting that too. You're just doing it in a different manner
Right.
of learning your students' learning style.
Right.
But you seem to be integrating everything.
I try.
And right, with timing, and I say, I guess the difficulty would be timing.
As
And
always.
keep the timing and keeping up with the pacing.
Always. Because when you really care about your students' learning levels, you can't just rush to one SOL to the next SOL. It's not fair to them.
And that's what happened to me this year. I felt like I was so overwhelmed. I was so overwhelmed. I was just so overwhelmed. Um, how has it affected your curricular approach, having to know students' learning styles and DI?
What do you mean?
Does it, doing DI, does it change your perspective on the curriculum, or you just do it so naturally? I think you incorporate anyway.
Yeah, I have to be. Yeah, it just comes natural. It does. I would say it definitely helps because you're always trying to find different ways to use your curriculum. How can I make this SOL interesting? What approaches can I take? So I think it forces me to always stay on my toes and try to create new things because that's what I'm always trying to do. I don't know if that was a good answer.
Okay. Yes, that's because that is it. Because you try, you are definitely trying to find more ways to use the Google Classroom to meet your kids' needs. So that's definitely, it's not affecting the curricular approach negatively. Is actually making it positive, because now you're going to be able to share those ideas with others. Right. That's good. And lastly, how can administrators support your instructional practices in this diverse population?
I can't say this year. I think I was well supported this year by, like you said, big having the Google Classroom. And when you said that you hope that more teachers do get it, I really do hope more teachers get to use the Google Classroom. That was a big support system to me because, well, I like technology, and I know that our kids today, that's what they like to use, and that's a really big supporting feature for them. It allows teachers to find more things to use. It just you get to you it's a nice option to have. What other support could I use from them?
Well, I think, I mean, just the use of the technology. I would say, what do you think about more presence in the classroom to confirm those best practices you're using?
I agree. I would love more feedback. That is something I can't say. I don't feel like I'm always wondering if I'm doing it right. That's why I still get nervous when they come in the room. I don't really know what I'm expecting from them, but it would be nice, more feedback and more interaction from them. Not only when you come in, interact with the lesson.
That's that's one thing about that Miss Covington used to do. And I used to always say, Miss Covington, come in my room like 3 times a week. And do you know that it would be times she'll come to my classroom and like participate? Like she answering the questions like the kids.
Oh, really?
But at first I was a little like, oh my God. But then I was like, I enjoyed that. You know, and Miss White even did it. She even would come in, and one day she went up there and was showing she could understand the way a kid was learning it, and I couldn't see it.
Right.
And so she went to the board and said, "Wait a minute, I think I can explain it." And she did, and other kids like, "Oh yeah, you know, you're right. That's the interaction that we need." And I have to agree with you on feedback. Don't give me feedback in a computer.
Or you know, sentence. You know, right. I don't need that. That's not helpful.
Right. I want you to come talk to me and say, "This is what I saw. This is what I need." Da da da. That's the feedback. Exactly, because you took the time to do it. You took the time to do it.
Exactly.
Well, Ms. Walden, I thank you for your time. This has been great. This has been a great interview, and I can't wait to like replay it and hear myself and I'm learning every day. Not even as just becoming a future administrator, because I know even as an administrator, I can't forget what I did in the classroom.
Exactly.
So to help other teachers. So thank you.
No problem.